right, and we're back with another episode, and joining me today, Taylor Rae. How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. We were just talking about, you taking some boxing lessons,
Graham, yeah.
Yeah. I was saying I got to get into it. I don't know. I think I'd get beat up in those classes or something.
Um, yeah, I mean, it's really hard. I knew it was gonna be hard, but I didn't realize like how much technique there is to it. I've only ever gone like shot for shot with my dad, so
Yep.
or my brother. So nothing actually coordinated or technique based.
Oh, you got this. You got this. It's very cool that you're doing that stuff. So, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
awesome. Okay, so for starters here, for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from.
Yeah, I grew up in Alberta. I grew up singing with my dad, and that's kind of where I developed my love for country, I guess. So after doing that for years, I ended up moving to Vancouver and taking an arts and entertainment management course because my biggest thing and my family's biggest thing was if you're going to be in this industry, you should probably figure out the business side of it a bit.
Huh?
So I did that, and then I ended up kind of falling into joining like a soul choir, which is I think where a lot of my vocal development came from over the past however many 8 years now. So that's been pretty cool. And then I just ended up meeting my band and just playing as much as we could. And now, I mean, kind of taking a step to working with a couple incredible producers like Dan Swinimer and Tavish Crow. And yeah, I'm just excited where everything's going.
Very cool. And what was the taking it back? What was the moment that you knew that this is what you wanted to pursue?
I always wanted to pursue singing. Like I remember sitting in the back of the car and when Shania Twain would come on, I like loved her so much, but I always felt so jealous that she was on the radio and I wasn't when I was like 10. So I always kind of had a feeling that that's what I wanted to do, but it wasn't until I was around like 14, 15 when I was really just like practicing and practicing and practicing. And my dad was just like, you're not too bad if you want to give this a go. And I mean, we'll support you the whole way. You're going to have to take the reins, do the research, all that kind of stuff. So it just kind of went from there.
Okay, very cool. I mean, that's awesome that they're very supportive like that. So,
Definitely.
yeah,
I've really lucked out with that. Yeah.
absolutely. All right. Moving forward, you've opened up for artists such as Jade Eagleson, Aaron Pritchett, Colin James, and more.
Yeah.
Tell us your experiences with those artists. What was one of your favorite moments opening up for them?
Um, I think it was, I mean, Colin James was in and out of that venue pretty quick. But I think one of the cool things was seeing, I mean, when I walked on that stage, I'm sure absolutely nobody knew who I was, but it was cool seeing that crowd who loved him so much be like so supportive of just this unknown artist that was on the stage. It was definitely a moment where I walked on stage knowing that that crowd was for him and that I mean, I'm not really a part of his fan base at all, like or in regards to like our demographics that we attract. And yeah, so to see them kind of like support just because I was opening up for him was pretty cool.
Okay, very cool. And for someone
Yeah.
who hasn't heard your music before, how would you describe your sound to them?
That's a good question. I would say, I mean, vocally, I've always looked up to like Martina McBride. And I mean, the soul in Chris Stapleton's voice is pretty crazy. So I love kind of the combination of those two sounds, but I think like energy wise and performance wise, I mean, it's a tall order, but I would love to be in the same lane as like Shania Twain, kind of the way she just wraps you up the second you walk into a show of hers, which I think is super neat.
Very cool. And talking like influences and stuff, do you have one specifically for just songwriting and one for just performing?
Oh, that's a really good question, actually. I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of my influences songwriting wise have come from like the ladies of the 90s, you know, just because that was my jam. And I find still I have to think like, is this too 90s? I feel like when I write, I'm like writing that suds in the bucket style and stuff like that. So I think those women really influenced my songwriting because that was, I mean, I love that storytelling of Independence Day and suds in the bucket and all of that. So I think that's majorly where my songwriting really kind of came in.
Okay, very cool. And where do you find most of your inspiration when writing?
Kind of from everywhere. I've recently been working on writing about things even if I'm not like in that moment inspired to do it because for the past few years the second I feel like I need to write something, I'm just like kind of tuck myself away for a couple hours and write it all down and try and get like the feeling out. So basically if I can't in that moment do it from like if I'm sad or honestly a lot of times I'll write when I'm like sad or frustrated or whatever and I'm like I can't tell this person how frustrated I am so I'm going to write it all down. And but I basically have just been like journaling and then just so I can get some of that inspiration back when I'm in a room with somebody I just like kind of sift through what I wrote down just so you can kind of get back in that headspace to keep it, I guess, organic. But
Okay. All right. And I ask every artist this one. What has been the best advice you've been given in your career that you still follow to this point?
um I mean I've gotten a few points. One I think one of the ones I'm not sure this isn't like I guess you can take it how you want, but when I was trying to figure out what to do, my kind of mentor and friend Warren, he just said, "Tay, there is no industry standard for how you want to do things," which for me really resonated because I was always looking at other artists and what they were doing, trying to figure out where I sit in there. And I kind of realized that you can't find your own lane by trying to see what everybody else is doing.
Right.
So I think so hearing that, I had to kind of just take a step back and go, okay, let me just figure this out on my own. Obviously, take it to some industry professionals, see if it makes sense. But yeah, and I think that was super useful piece of advice.
Okay, awesome. And okay, let's talk about your single, Are You Still Up? Tell us a little bit about it and how it all came together.
Yeah, I was working with Cassidy Peterson out of Nashville, and we were kind of putting songs head to head and just kind of seeing, what would work the best for this kind of like evolving sound. I haven't released music in a couple years, so I really wanted to come out of the gates with this kind of like really showing who I've developed into as an artist. And we listened to the song Are You Still Up? And it was kind of this moment where we're like, oh, this could be pretty cool. It was written by Carly Pierce, Phil Barton, Adam Argyle, who are, I mean, incredible writers. So to be able to put my voice and spin on a song like that was pretty epic and something I didn't really imagine myself getting to do at this point in the game. So then I took it to my producer, Dan Swinimer and Tavish Crow, and we really just created this feeling of like angst, but also emptiness, which I think really shows in like the instrumental aspect of it, where the vocals are building so much, but the instrumental still has these kind of like empty, echoey drums, and it I think complements each other really well. So yeah, Are You Still Up for me is definitely feeling like a bit of a game-changing moment for me, which I was pretty pumped about. But
Awesome. And it's available on all platforms?
yeah, it sure is. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And do you do a lot of co-writing?
Yeah, you know what? I really dove into co-writing over the past couple years since quarantine hit because I wrote a lot by myself, and then once COVID quarantine, I was like, I'm not inspired at all. So like, we need to get some extra brains in here and kind of keep things rolling. And yeah, I just got back from a trip to Nashville co-writing, and it's been really cool. It's nice to have people to bounce ideas off. And I mean, a lot of the time I walk out not feeling like the smartest person in the room, but they say if you're not the smartest, or if you're the smartest, you're not learning. So,
Right.
so running with that.
All right. And bouncing ideas off each other, would you say that's your favorite thing, or what's your favorite thing about co-writing?
Yeah, I just think the collaboration aspect of it, like even melody wise, I was writing with um Dwayne Thompson and Emily Shackleton, and we were kind of writing this song. And for me, I would naturally just kind of go to a basic melody and be like, perfect, song's done. But like Emily is just kind of the way her brain works is just different, it's different than mine at this point. And the melodies she was coming up with were meaningful, and they added so much to the song. And so that kind of aspect of it is cool, because it's stuff that, it's different than what you would normally come up with. And it keeps everything from sounding the same.
Fair enough. Okay. Okay, you're single. Do we have plans for a music video at all?
Yeah, we're actually going to start filming next Monday.
Nice.
So it's coming up. And so the music video should be ready in the next few weeks or so. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. The plans for it are pretty epic. So I'm working with Matt Brasha, director here in BC. And yeah, we've basically just put it all together, and we're just waiting to film.
What can you tell us about it? That's your, the creative vision behind it.
Yeah, it's I mean, for anybody who knows me, they know I can be pretty dramatic. And so we're definitely going to bring that into the music video. I feel like this song is very dramatic. And so we expect a lovely like gas town feel, loft, maybe a rooftop or something like that. Praying for rain, basically.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So we'll see. Yeah, no, it should be really cool.
Yeah, awesome. All right. Do you have any shows lined up at all?
Not at the moment. I might have a couple things at CCMAs, but everything is as it has been for the past year and a half. Seems very tentative. So we'll see. But I'm hoping by next summer. Actually, I'm lying to you right now. We were supposed to have a show this weekend, actually, and then obviously with restrictions, it's kind of making it hard to really pump the tires of it. So it'll be January 29th at the Wise Hall in Vancouver. So it'll be like our big comeback show.
Okay, awesome. And you are going to CCMA, eh?
I am. Are you?
I don't know yet. I'm trying.
Oh my God. It's going to be such a reunion. You have to go.
I know, but I'm just like, because I know so many people who aren't going.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't know. I'm like, it would be good to go, but
I think it's split for sure, but I'm excited to just see people in person. I feel like I'm really ready for that.
I know. And I've never actually been east, so it'd be kind of cool to kind of see the city out there. And
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've spent a matter of 20 minutes in London before on a radio tour, but from what I saw, it looks cool.
Okay. Release of the single, plans for the music video. What's next for you?
Yeah, I think just keeping this single rolling. It's going to be going out to radio in a couple weeks. So I'm super excited, a little nervous to see how that goes, but because it can always be a bit of a coin toss at radio. But yeah, I'm just hoping for positive things, really. But there'll be more music coming. I'm working on an EP right now. So spring, early summer, there should be some more news about that.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we'll get you back on so we can chat about that.
Yeah, incredible.
All right. Okay, last thing, tell us where we can find you on social media.
Yeah, you can find everything at taylorraeofficial.com and basically Taylor Rae Official on every social media platform.
Awesome. All right, guys, go grab Taylor Rae's new single. And Taylor, thanks so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. It was good. And yeah, stay in touch and hopefully see you at CCMAs if I go.
Yeah. We'll see you at CCMAs.
Yeah, we'll see you. All right. Take care and we'll talk soon.